Let's talk about the guest list. You're going to see, obviously, the who's who of the BJP, the top brass, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, as are several other dignitaries. They're all expected there, union ministers and NDA chief ministers. So 20 CMs from different parts of the country will all come together in Delhi for the swearing in. Now, besides that, noted industrialists, sources telling us the Ambanis, the Adanis have been invited for the swearing-in ceremony. We're also hearing that celebrities from Bollywood will also be a part of the swearing-in ceremony, much like what we saw in Mumbai when Fadnavis was taking oath as the chief minister. Spiritual leaders, seers, have been also officially invited for the swearing-in ceremony. Farmer leaders, the BJP has invited them at a time when you've also been seeing some controversy and you've been seeing protests taking place. The BJP ensuring the swearing-in ceremony is also a platform where they can send out a message, which is why you've got farmer leaders being invited, beneficiaries of central government schemes, including Ladli Behna, who will be there. Now, here's another important point. Slum dwellers will be a part of the swearing-in ceremony, and this is reportedly the BJP's thank you note to the slum dwellers, which is traditionally always an up vote bank. So the BJP trying to send across a message that they're now on our side. They're saffronized. So all of them will be part of the swearing-in ceremony, part of the guest list, as even the BJP is sending out a message that people like beneficiaries of central government schemes, slum dwellers, they're all now on the VIP guest list. But let's talk about the real VIP of the day of 20th February. It will be whoever's sworn in as the Delhi Chief Minister. The speculation continues. We still don't know who it's going to be. Let's run you through the three probable faces. Parvesh Verma, first one, the most obvious on the list. Let's break down for you what works for him and what quite literally doesn't because of the pros and cons, essentially, for a face like Parvesh Verma. What works is, of course, the fact that he has this image now of being a giant slayer, having defeated Arvind Kejriwal from New Delhi. He's also young, he's dynamic, so for a faceless Delhi BJP, he kind of fits the bill of being someone who is energetic and a big face for the BJP in the national capital, having defeated Arvind Kejriwal. As far as caste goes, he's a Jat face of the BJP, so that could be a factor that could work for him. It could also against, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. But remember that Parvesh Verma also comes from a political family. He is the son of former Chief Minister Sahib Singh Verma, so literally has politics in his blood. The other big tick for him is the fact that he's also from the Sangh, has an RSS background, and considering the RSS does have a say in these decisions, that works in his favor. Known to have also a good connect with voters, which translated, of course, to that win for him in the New Delhi constituency. Let's talk about what goes against him. He's been surrounded by controversies for the kind of comments that he's made in the past and also in the run-up to this election. The worst one, perhaps, was, in fact, an inflammatory speech that he'd made targeting minorities. This was during the Shaheen Bagh controversy, for which the BJP also had pulled him up and he'd had to issue an apology. But it was a huge controversy that since then also led to legal cases against him. Now, the caste factor, what I was referring to of the fact that he is a Jat face of the BJP. Jats, as a community in Delhi, are less than 7%. So we'll have to see really if the BJP chooses to accommodate this community, and that too with the Chief Minister throne. Now remember, Parvesh Verma in the course of the Delhi election was also accused of violating the Model Code of Conduct. So that's another controversy, which is why we did say that that's an image that he has, which could be a challenge for the Bharatiya Janata Party, which could work against him. Let's talk about the other big probable on the list, the other frontrunner, Ashish Sood, a long-time BJP Karyakarta worker. What works for him is exactly that he's held several leadership positions within the BJP. He served as the General Secretary of the Delhi BJP. He has administrative experience as an ex-councillor. The reason that's important is that the BJP has to hit the ground running in the national capital, has to ensure that they make good of the promises that they've made to the people. Now, Ashish Sood has, in fact, performed for the party, was co-in charge of several elections like the Goa, Jammu and Kashmir elections as well, so has a direct connect with the central leadership, with the top brass of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, as far as caste, community and those factors really go, and when you look at that particular mix, Ashish Sood is the Punjabi face of the party. And we saw in this election that the Punjabi vote swung towards the BJP, so it could be a factor that works in his favor. Let's look at what works against Ashish Sood. He's made some direct, blunt statements that's led to people being offended, and we're talking about within the party. It's led to issues within the BJP of factionalism. The other issue for Ashish Sood is that he's had an inconsistent electoral performance. He is the MLA right now from Janakpuri, but he's not always performed well in elections. And like I said, involved in internal factionalism because of the kind of blunt statements that he's made. So while he's performed for the party in elections, he's also faced issues within the Delhi BJP unit. So he may not necessarily have all of the support of the MLAs. The third name on the list that's doing the rounds, Rekha Gupta. Will we have another woman chief minister in the national capital? What works for her is experience in municipal governance. The same point that I mentioned earlier with Ashish Sood is that the BJP has to perform on cleaning the Yamuna, cleaning the air and doing so much more, that having someone with experience will obviously help. Now, she has huge support within the BJP and access to resources as a result. And of course, having a woman chief minister comes with its perks of focusing on women-linked issues. For the BJP, that helps with the narrative that they push forward of Nari Shakti. She's also known for her commitment to public welfare. But there are some factors that go against her of why she could not be really in this race. First, relatively fresh tenure as MLA. She's been chosen from Shalimar Bagh. She won from Shalimar Bagh with a sizable margin of votes, but still a little inexperienced as an MLA. Navigating state-level challenges is going to be a problem for her, considering now, of course, if she's given more responsibility. She was also defeated previously in the 2023 mayoral election, so she's not had a 100% track record also of victories. Limited ability to address local issues as well is seen as one of her weaknesses. So we've broken down for you what works for and against the three front runners in this particular race. And now we'll have to see what the BJP top brass has to say. Who do they pick of these three, or is it going to be a completely new surprise face? We'll have to wait and see. In the next 24 hours, we should have answers as to exactly who is the next Delhi Chief Minister. 3 p.m. is when that meet takes place.